Hello and welcome to another Figuring Out Japan video. We sell all the coolest collectibles straight out of Japan. Please check the description of this video for more details, including our Facebook page and our eBay store. So firstly, apologies for my voice. I know it's a bit croaky today, but just some One Piece news. One Piece just aired yesterday, its 700th episode, so big congratulations for that. And of course, last month it actually entered the Guinness Book of Records for the most number of manga or comics sold by a single artist, which of course is Eiichiro Oda, who made the series, at 320 million copies and counting. But let's get to the figures. So very excited actually to be reviewing these figures because we've sold quite a few of them, but this is actually the first time I've been able to hold ones that are actually open and show you the actual figures themselves. But first we're going to have a look at the boxes. So both of these figures are from the Sculptures series, which you can see here, and they were released, I believe, around the end of 2014, so not so long ago. And as people who have seen a few of these reviews will know, I really love the design of these Sculptures box figures. So and this is actually, I believe, the very first Donquixote Doflamingo figure that Banpresto have released in the Sculptures line. They've had the POPs from Mega House. They have had, I think, some Ichiban Kujis, but this is sort of the first like standard sort of Banpresto figure release. So these are the box, and then of course you got some background information. And this is actually a really big box for a really big figure. So if I'm moving the camera in a bit. Put the iPhone 5 case there, you can see it's pretty big. And if you collect the MSPs, which are pretty big figures, you can see it's the same size, but it is actually a lot wider. Sorry. You can see there the relative width of that. So it is a really big box. But the Trafalgar Law is actually a relatively small box. And this box is actually like cardboard. It's actually quite thick. So it's actually quite a thick box. I'll show you there so you can see all the cardboard. It's actually like a cardboardy feel. So yeah, now these Sculptures figures, before they release them, they have like a website and people can vote which figures they like, and then eventually like a champion is chosen, which is why it says champion 2012. But this one was actually released in 2014, so I don't know why that is. I don't think it was a re-release or anything. But anyway, so that's the box. And of course you got the the gold to animation sticker. So let's get the boxes out of the way. Oops. And show you the actual figures. So these two, they were separate figures. They were released separately, but obviously they go really well together. So I guess that's sort of the effect that you're looking for. I mean, you could turn him around a bit if you wanted to, I guess, but yeah, that's basically the gist of it. So you can see, even though the box sizes are really different, the actual figures themselves are, pretty much in proportion. So let's actually look at Doflamingo first. So Doflamingo comes with 5 pieces. You got the base, the bottom half is body, the top half is body, the jacket, and then there's this tiny little stand there for his jacket. And I just love the design of this figure. I love the pose that they have him in. Just really in attack mode. And I mean, Doflamingo looks kind of weird when you think about it. I mean, his pants and his jacket and everything, I mean, he kind of looks like a drag queen. And some figures of him actually do look really weird. but this one actually just captures Doflamingo beautifully, I think. And he does actually look really mean and everything, as he's supposed to. You can just see the detail there in his chest. And even his, you can see his like voice box, his Adam's apple. Oh, that's gone out of focus very badly. Sorry. So yeah, just here, you can see his veins, like just really, really nice detail. And I definitely feel this is one of the best figures that Banpresto have released in this line. It's really very, very impressive. Even the bottom of his shoes, you know, the back, like who's going to see that? They still put it in. You can see the reflection in the coat there in the base. And one thing you can actually do, oh, it even has the little skull from his cufflinks printed on there. One thing I commented with the crocodile figure in this series, that the jacket actually had pins in it, so you couldn't display it without the jacket. Not that you'd really want to, but this literally just lifts off. So you can, I don't know really why you'd want to, but you could release him, sorry, you could display him without the jacket, which I think is pretty cool. And the jacket is just, it's actually, like, most of the weight is in the jacket. I mean, it's really, I don't know why they made it so thick actually. Maybe it was, that's how they had to do it with the manufacturing process. But yeah, that's a you know, it's a cool feature, I guess, that they did that. Just trying to get the thing on again here. Just going to be very difficult with one hand since I'm holding the camera with the other hand. And I don't think it's going to... Ah, come on. That'll do. Anyway. So, yeah. I think he does look a little bit... yeah, he goes off the base. I think it's anyway. I think it's a really, really cool figure. I don't know if there's really much I'd change about it. Oh, one thing I don't know, because this is a second-hand figure, but his hand has like these bits here on the joints that just seem really. So I thought they were actually just damaged, like because it's second-hand, as I said, but then they're also here as well. And I don't know, maybe that's how they're made. I'm not sure, to be honest. But in fact, if you look at the box, you might be able to tell. Yes, I don't think they're meant to have them actually. But so if you do buy this figure, just be very careful how you take it out of the box, that you don't like scrape it against the side, because there is cardboard inside the box, and I guess it might be strong enough to damage it. So let's get to the Trafalgar Law. Wow, this figure, I tell ya. I mean, both of these figures are great, but this Trafalgar Law is just top notch. So you get the base, you get the stand, the sword is a separate piece, the top half of his body, that's 4, the bottom half of his body, that's 5 pieces. The head actually comes off as well. 6, and then the coat actually doesn't come off. But the sword is a separate piece as well. So I think there's 7 pieces in total. And so I can get his head back on. I'll just show you the details of the head. So it's actually interesting to see. It gives you some idea how they make it. Look at the detail, even blood on his teeth, and you can just see there how they get the teeth and everything in there. So it's all sort of manufactured as separate pieces. Look how deep the teeth go. It's not just the front. So anyway, so that's the head. But I mean, it's not really like, to me, this figure is just, it's kind of perfect. Like it really, it's just, I love the stance. There's some really like complicated fine pieces in here. I mean, if I compare it to, I know this is Dragon Ball, but you know, if I compare it to a figure like this figure looks good. It does, but you know, it's a fairly, would not be particularly hard to manufacture. But when you look at a piece like this, and you know, there's so much like printing on his pants and the seam of his jeans, and you know, the sword. You've even got like the, you know, the cross hatching on his handle. Why is that going out of focus? His tattoos, all his tattoos. You know, there's a lot to this piece. There really, you know, there's a lot of detail. Even the jacket, and then, you know, the tattoos on his fingers, which spell death. You can see the detail on the sword. There's a lot of. There is a tattoo there as well. Just a lot of detail, and it really is a very impressive, very, very impressive figure in my opinion. So, space is not big enough to turn the whole thing around. So, yeah. So one thing I mean, if I really wanted to get nitpicky, I'd say the base does look a little bit silly. But if you didn't have, by that I mean, sorry, the stand rather than the base. But you know, you need that to have him in that stance. I mean, look at the angle. That's pretty cool. And also this part here looks a little bit silly, but I don't know how they could have avoided that. And again, it really, I mean, it doesn't really look silly unless you really kind of look at it close. So, I mean, there's really not much you can complain about for either of these figures. They're really, really great figures, and I just think they're great, and they look great together. Now I'm very, very quickly going to show you, I haven't put that coat back on properly, that's why it looks a bit funny. The Roronoa Zoro figure, actually, sorry it's not open, but that looks really cool with the Trafalgar as well, the two swordsmen. So even though they don't fight in the series, of course, they might in the future, who knows. But yeah, I mean, they do look really good together, actually. So you could do that as a display. And there have been quite a few other Trafalgar released. So there was actually another one in the Sculptures line, which was this one. And this was also the champion, so obviously a lot of love for Trafalgar lore. I haven't reviewed this figure actually, so I'll give you a bit of a look at the box. It's not open, unfortunately. And then there's also the MSP Trafalgar lore. So there have been a few Trafalgar lores, but I still think that this one is the best, personally. So they're just two really, really great figures. I've probably said that about 10 times in this video. So that is the Doflamingo, Donquixote Doflamingo, and Trafalgar Lore Sculptures figures. Thank you very much for watching.